चलिए, और ठीक चल रहा है वहाँ पे? मौसम कैसा,
जी
गर्मी
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह
होगी
सर,
काफी?
केसेस जिजान नंबर 1 पे है इस टाइम सऊदी में कोविड के केसेस में। दुआ करिए सर बस।
माशाल्लाह, 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 अलीगढ़ से टक्कर ले रहा है।
हाँ अलीगढ़ से टक्कर मतलब बस।
अभी 1 मिनट दो।
सईद भाई आ रहे हैं सर आपसे। आवाज आ रही है सर वसीम साहब?
हाँ, फर्स्ट क्लास, फर्स्ट क्लास आवाज आ रही है।
हाँ सईद भाई ऑनलाइन होने वाले हैं, वो आपसे राब्ता करना चाह रहे हैं, बहुत बेताब बेताब है आपसे राब्ता करने के लिए।
हाँ,
आ गए देखिए।
देखे, एक
देखिए मैं
झलक
अभी
देखी,
अनम्यूट कर रहा हूँ। अनम्यूट कर रहा हूँ उन्हें
एक
अभी,
झलक
रुकिए
देखी।
देखिए। एक झलक दिखी थी, गायब हो गए।
हाँ, इकराम भाई।
अभी बात हुई थी सर, नमाज पढ़ रहे थे, आने वाले हैं ऑनलाइन।
अच्छा अच्छा। नहीं, बस नमाज पढ़ के आए हम अभी बस।
जी 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 वो।
सब लोग तो मस्जिद में पढ़ रहे हैं।
अच्छा शुरू हो गई आपके यहाँ मस्जिद में?
5-6 लोग पढ़ लेते हैं बस।
अच्छा। सईद भाई,
अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।
वसीम साहब से रब्ता करिए।
जी जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम डॉक्टर साहब, खैरियत से?
वसीम सर, आवाज आ रही है? हेलो।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। डॉक्टर साहब खैरियत से? सब ठीक ठाक? तबीयत ठीक है?
आप सुनाए? आप
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
सुनाए कैसे हैं? तबीयत?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह
माशाल्लाह,
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
माशाल्लाह, माशाल्लाह। बुजुर्गी काफी
नाइस टू
चमक
सी
रही
यू
है।
आफ्टर।
बुजुर्गी चमक रही है काफी।
सर फैमिली चले गई है इनकी, यहाँ से फैमिली नहीं है अब।
अच्छा, फैमिली अब नहीं रखते हैं।
जी जी जी।
हाँ।
और सब ठीक ठाक?
बेटा कैसा है? बेटे कुछ प्रॉब्लम थी? बेटा बेटा ठीक है?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह
बेटा
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
ठीक है?
जी जी जी, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह
हाँ,
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
चलिए, माशाल्लाह,
स्कूलिंग वगैरह चल रही है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, जैसे है सब ठीक है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
हम्म, और सब चल रहा है, सब सही है। हम लोगों को तो बुढ़ापा आ गया, बच्चे सब छोड़ के चले गए, अब अकेले ही हैं।
अरे 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 माशाल्लाह,
बेटियां
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
अपने अपने ससुराल चली गई,
जी
बेटे
जी
साहब
जी,
बाहर चले गए।
मुबारक हो मुबारक हो, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अली अनम्यूट करिए अपने आप को, मैं मिलवाऊं।
सही साहब, अनम्यूट कीजिए।
बोलिए।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
बहुत दिनों बाद मुलाकात हो रही है।
अब ऐसे ही मुलाकात होगी अब ऐसे ही मुलाकात होगी।
नहीं नहीं, इसके आगे भी मुलाकात होगी भाई, इंशाल्लाह बेटर डेज विल कम एंड वी विल मीट। काशिफ सलाम वालेकुम, और डॉक्टर खालिद सलाम वालेकुम। और कौन है यहाँ पर? अभय तिवारी जी नजर आ रहे हैं। सो मेनी पीपल।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम
सलाम।
सलाम।
फैसल साहब।
Kashif, just to you must have recognized that the background is your house.
बैकग्राउंड जोर आओ।
It is my house. Yes, it is my house because the network was not available in my place, so I got quite nervous. So I told Haris to bring me here. So many people have yet to join, isn't it? प्रोफेसर वसीम को जरा मैं गौर से देख लूं भाई।
गौर से देख ले।
अरे भाई बहुत दिनों
इंशाल्लाह
बाद।
विद इन 5 मिनट वी विल स्टार्ट सर।
Okay, no problem.
ठीक है, नो
I'm
प्रॉब्लम,
at
नो
your
प्रॉब्लम।
place
I think everyone had joined. Yeah, please start.
हु?
एवरीवन हैज जॉइन्ड।
सभी लोग ज्वाइन कर लिए हैं, मेरे ख्याल से स्टार्ट करना चाहिए।
हाँ, बस 2-3 मिनट और रुक जाएं, खालिद साहब नमाज पढ़ के आ जाएं, बस शुरू कर रहे हैं।
अच्छा,
बस 2 मिनट का टाइम दिया।
फैसल साहब से इंट्रोडक्शन नहीं भाई, मेरा ये किस डिपार्टमेंट में है?
जी।
फैसल साहब से मेरा इंट्रोडक्शन नहीं है, किस डिपार्टमेंट में है?
फैसल साहब सर यहाँ इंग्लिश डिपार्टमेंट में है सर ये।
अच्छा,
आप गए, ये आए।
हाँ।
हाँ हाँ।
इनकी एहलिया मतलब ये यहाँ एज ए स्कूल इन्होंने ज्वाइन किया, इनकी एहलिया इंग्लिश में है सर।
अच्छा,
भैया मैं बहुत ही ज्यादा खौफजदा हूँ, सब अंग्रेजी वाले बैठे हुए हैं एंड प्रोफेसर वसीम, हम लोगों की अंग्रेजी तो ऐसे
भैया हम तो भोजपुरी ही बोलते हैं।
हम तो भोजपुरी में से अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं।
हम तो
भोजपुरी में
बोलते हैं।
अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं।
यहाँ नहीं, भोजपुरी वालों की भी तादाद बहुत है।
चलो ठीक है।
माशाल्लाह।
तो इसे थोड़ा सा ऊंचा कर दे यार ऐसे।
अरे सही है, वो बहुत ऊंचा हो जाए।
नहीं मुझे तो गर्दन नहीं झुकानी पड़ेगी। भाई दे दीजिए। ये बस सही है भाई हमारे गिरे नहीं यार। बस
छोड़ दिए
पीछे कुछ लगा दो। ठीक है साहब, ये तो पहले पेरेंट का शेड्यूल है ये।
जी सर, अब now it's perfect.
Now it's okay?
Yes, now
Now
it's
I am
okay.
visible. And everybody is visible now.
Yes, Wasim Saab, shall we start? And
Yes, of course.
yes, and Ikram Uncle, shall we start? Professor Dr. Ikram Hussain.
Yes, you have to start. You are the convener.
Okay.
And you are the host.
Yeah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Wasim Ahmed, Dean Faculty of Life Science and ex-Chairman Department of Zoology, AMU. Esteemed guest speaker, Professor Dr. Ikram Hussain, ex-Dean and Principal, ZH College of Engineering and Technology, AMU. Core Committee members, AMU Aaj, Dr. Athar Ahmed Khan, Dr. Ahmed Khalid Khan, Convener, Mr. Mohammad Faisal, Executive Committee members, AMU Aaj, fellow colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu and greetings from AMU Alumni Association Jazan KSA. To begin with the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, the first and the last, eminent and the determinant, the one who has full knowledge of everything. Upholding the glorious tradition of the Aligarh Muslim University, we begin this webinar with the recitation of Holy Quran, and for that, I would like to request Mr. Mohammad Faisal, the convener of the webinar, to recite some verses from Holy Quran. Mr. Mohammad Faisal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khair, Mr. Mohammad Faisal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an intense evening, and here at this webinar, we are favored to have with us the two paragons of our beloved alma mater in the form of Professor Dr. Wasim Ahmed and Professor Dr. Ikram Hussain. Many of you have made a huge effort to join us today, and for this, I, Dr. Syed Kashif Ali, Member Secretary of AMU Alumni Association of Jazan, KSA, is highly indebted to you. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time for inaugural address by Professor Dr. Wasim Ahmed. Professor Dr. Wasim Ahmed is an internationally acclaimed nematologist with over 4 decades of research experience. He obtained DSc, PhD, MPhil, MSc, BSc degree from AMU. He has described over 300 new taxa of nematodes. All his work has been published in high-impact journals of the world, including the topmost journal Nature. He has several books to his credential, published by Springer and many more. He has visited many countries as visiting professor or scientist on prestigious visiting fellowship from Royal Society UK, DFG Germany, and many more. Dr. Ahmad is a recipient of E.K. Chanki Ammal National Award on Animal Taxonomy by Ministry of Forest and Environment, Government of India, the Vigyan Ratan Award of the UP Department of Science and Technology, Recognition Award of the National Academy of Agriculture Science, Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India. He is the Fellow of National Academy of Science, Agriculture Science, and of the Linen Society of London. As a team leader, Dr. Ahmad is the current Dean of Faculty of Life Science, AMU, ex-chairman, Department of Zoology, AMU, and also he is the Director of Academic Program Committee, AMU. So I would like to request Professor Dr. Wasim Ahmad for his inaugural address. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kashif, for my introductory speech. Of course, my senior and guest speaker of today's webinar, Professor Ikram Hussain Saab, my elder brother and everything, Dr. Syed Kashif Ali, Organizing Secretary, and Muhammad Faisal, convener of this webinar, Dr. Khalid, and other organizing committee members, my dear Ali, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening. It is an honor for me that I have been invited as chief guest for this webinar on a very important topic, the leadership development. The organizers have chosen a very important person who has a very wide experience as an academician, as well as chairperson, dean, principal, dean, student welfare, and director of an institute to act as a strong, a visionary leader in different capacities. I shall share with you some of my experiences in last several years as chairperson of the Department of Zoology, as well as Director Academic Program of Aligarh Muslim University. When we talk of leaders, leaders are generally, it is said that leaders are born, but leaders are not necessarily born. People can learn leadership behavior. People who excel in performing their job and who take full responsibility with their commitment are acting like leaders. Someone who looks to find a better, smarter, and faster way of working things look like a leader or acts like a leader. Leaders are essential for all organizations. It may be company or industry or an institution. A leader must have a clear vision, mission, goal, and for that, he has to create motivating environment where the people are working, whether they are academicians or a person working in industry. A transition from an employee to a leader can be a tough task to accomplish. It is important that you recognize the leadership needs of your organization and then work your way up, considering both short-term and long-term goals. A leader must have to think about the short-term goals as well as the long-term goals of his organization, of his department, of his institute, or of his university. Based on their skill and environment, a leader can make the working environment better or worse. Better the leader, more success the organization will have. With a strong growth-minded leader, employees will feel motivated to achieve goals and they will be encouraged to perform better. When I look at my own experience as a chairperson, when I joined the Department of Zoology, when I took over as chairman in 2016, when we talk of the academic institutions at master's level, after doing master's, the students try to go for PhD. And in India, NET and GATE has become the essential qualification for getting into getting into higher education. Now, the situation in both Faculty of Science as well as Faculty of Life Science was that from every department, just 2 or 3 students used to qualify NET or GATE. So I took this one as a challenge, the first challenge for me, that why not our students are qualifying? Why more and more students are not qualifying NET? And for that I took some initiatives, interaction with the students, interaction between the students, those who have qualified, who are going to appear to qualify, or regular on every Saturday, we used to have interaction sessions with those students who are going to appear in the NET. And you can imagine in the first year itself, 35 students qualified NET from my department. And in 3 years, up to last year, about 150 students have qualified net and gate from my department itself. So if you take some initiative in a better way or try to interact with the people, you will have always better chances of improvement. Similarly, coming to the publication, of course, the life science always were a front-running faculty in the university. I have been publishing, and 2018 I took over a plan that I have to publish a paper in journal like Nature, which was published last year. And this Nature has given a boost in our faculty, and I'm very enthusiastic to tell you that Faculty of Life Science in India, the AMU Faculty of Life Science India is at #1 nowadays as per QSS ranking. So some of the initiatives, if you take up, or similarly as Director Academic Program, I took up the challenge that more and more research projects are submitted in the university. When I took up at that time, there were about 56 or 57 projects running in the university. At present, we have about 148 projects running in my university, from DST, from DBT, from CSIR. So one has to take initiatives in that way. But a man who takes the initiative, he must have two characteristic features. Number one, the integrity of the person concerned. That is the first and the foremost. If you want to be a successful leader, your integrity should not, in any way, it should not be challenged, and you should also be generous. It's not that you try to take all the credit to yourself. The credit must go to all those persons who are working with you. So creating what has to be done is creating an innovative ecosystem in your department or in your institution or your industry. Then try to raise funds from where it is possible. Similarly, in the university system, try to help your teachers and colleagues to submit for projects so that they can get the funds from different organizations, and giving some free hands to the faculty to work on their own way. And the most important is rewarding the faculty as well as the students. What I used to do is every year the students who qualify, I initiated some awards from the department to them, some mementos every year to give to them, so that gives encouragement to them. What is happening nowadays in India is, in India also, the Ministry of Human Resource and Development last year it started a very important program by the name LEAP. That is a leadership program for academic leadership academic program. Somehow I was associated with the selection process in that program in the university, and in the LEAP program also, the government is thinking to train senior teachers or senior scientists for academic leadership. I think my senior Professor Ikram Saab will be telling a lot about the leadership development. I just give the mic to my senior Professor Ikram Saab. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words and the hard work you are doing for our alma mater in one way or other. Now it's the time for a much awaited talk on leadership development by our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Dr. Ikram Hussain. Professor Dr. Ikram Hussain obtained his ME and PhD degree from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in Electrical High Voltage Engineering, BSc Engineering from BIT Ranchi University. Professor Hussain has a teaching research experience of about 40 years, in which he guided several students and set up laboratories in various universities of India and abroad. He has around 100 research publications in highly reputed journal to his credential. He is a member of Public Service Commission. He was visiting professor in various countries such as Iraq, Iran, Turkey, Kuwait, KSA, UAE, Oman, Australia, Sweden, Malaysia, UK, and USA. As a team leader, he is a member of various professional bodies such as IEEE, Computer Society of India, Advisory Committee of EINA, and many more. He was the principal and dean of ZS College of Engineering and Technology, AMU, dean of Students Welfare, AMU, director of the Computer Center, AMU, provost of the Halls of Residence, AMU, and director of Radha Govind Group of Institutions, Meerut. So with this introduction, I would like to request Professor Ikram Hussain sir to give his talk. Sir, please.
Start. Should I share the screen?
Direct PPT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start now. Good evening to all the participants we have. And I will come to Professor Wasim at the end because he appears to be eldest in the people among the people who are participating. So I'm thankful to Dr. Syed Kashif Ali and Dr. Kashif Ali, the organizing secretary, Mr. Muhammad Faisal, the convener, and Dr. Khalid, Dr. Ahmed Khalid, who is right in front of me, and of course the AMU Alumni Association Jazan. Though they are much away from AMU, but they are definitely carrying they are the flag bearer of the Aligarh Muslim University. This is really highly inspiring. Now, I feel indebted to Professor Wasim, who has kindly agreed to be the chief guest, and he has said something about me. And I know Professor Wasim not only as a colleague, we have different type of relations, and I have got the highest regard for him. And as director academic programs, he has really made a lot of contribution to for me, the students are most important, and ultimately the growth of the students is the growth of the university. Growth of the faculty is the growth of the university. Any institution exists by or is known by the performance of its students and the faculty members. And Professor Wasim has definitely made a large contribution in this. Now, he is a real leader, and I don't know what comment he is going to have after hearing my leadership talk. So now I will go to the PPT. So am I permitted to go, Professor Wasim? Please, allow me. Haji, I'm going to share the screen. So I am sharing the screen with you. And wherever you feel that I am a bit fast, please stop me. We have all time at our hand, and we will. क्या कर रहे हो तुम? Share screen उनका कर दिया तुमने. Okay, just my friend who is helping me is just go to my PPT.
No, I share.
Just sorry for the interruption. रुकावट के लिए खेद है.
No, you asked Dr. Kashif Ali to end his sharing.
Dr. Kashif, please end your sharing. Dr. Syed Kashif Ali, please end your sharing. You go to your PPT first. क्या कर रहे हो तुम?
उनकी share screen.
आ गया मेरा.
नहीं, अभी you are viewing Dr. Kashif Ali's screen.
Now
He
where
needs first to stop his sharing screen.
Dr. Kashif, please stop your sharing. Dr. Kashif, can you hear me? Dr. Kashif, can you hear me? Stop your sharing.
Now it's stopped. Now you can start sharing.
Okay, so
Please start sharing.
okay, I'm starting. Yeah. So here we have, and so with the permission of all the participants and Professor Wasim, I am going to start my discussion with you. And we are already late, so maybe at some point I am fast. So please, you tell me, I will slow down. Here, the first slide is about this leadership within you. Everybody has got some leadership qualities in him or her, but it's all how he develops himself. So this talk will probably inspire you to acquire the leadership qualities, which is, or polish the leadership qualities, which is already in everybody to some extent or other. So this is a very, there's a quote of Douglas MacArthur, which I'm going to read for you. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. This is this is underlined by me, the compassion to listen to the need of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. The integrity is the most important component of any leader. Okay, so this is one. So now leaders are great inspirers. And here I have tried to define the labor. He knows how to do a job, and that is his accomplishment. A teacher shows how to work. That is the accomplishment of a teacher. And a manager makes sure that the work is done by others, and this he is doing because of virtue of his position. But a leader does not have a position. He has a basic instinct and an intent to inspire people. So the key word is inspiring others to do better work is the accomplishment of a leader. So here the difference between the three, the labor, the teacher, the manager, and the leader is there on this slide. So leader's main job is to inspire. So here in this graphic, you will see that the one fish is leading so many fishes. I don't know how the fish inspires so many fishes. So here, leaders versus manager. You will find in this slide, the leader is leading from the front. He is leading from the front, and it's a work collaboration projects. Deadlines are there, and the leader is leading from the front to meet the deadlines. He leads by influence, and he says we go, or he says let's go, and whatever credits or discredits are there, he shares. But a good leader, if at all there is some error at some point, he tries to correct, but he is responsible for the management. If the management says that why at all it happened, then he says that the mistake was by the team. He does not name the person whose mistake was. This is the greatness of a leader. Whereas the manager is pushing from the behind, and he always takes the credit. And if at all if at all there is any discredit, he gives it to the team members. So this is the basic difference between the two. Okay, I proceed further. So he is actually influencing. So he is influencing people. He has the because he knows the job. By position, he means everyone influences someone. We never know who or how much we influence. Influence is a skill that can be developed. This is the quality. Everybody has got this. Influence is a skill that can be developed. The best investment in future is a proper influence today. I'm repeating, the best investment in the future is a proper influence today. So coming to the graphics here, this is that he does his job in a consistent manner and gives positive results. So people listen him. He has the permission to persuade people or to influence people, and they know that by doing this hard work there will be some output. And in fact, by influencing people, he is developing people. And the leader's greatest joy is to see people grow and perform. That is the personhood. These are the 5 levels of leadership. So, role of a leader: creating an inspiring vision of the future. As Professor Wasim says, that any leader has to have a vision and a roadmap and a goal. So what we call vision, mission, and goal. So a leader has got an inspiring vision of the future, and he motivates people and inspires people. He managing delivery of the vision, the vision, that is the timeline or the roadmap or the milestones are to be achieved by the team members. so that the final goal is achieved in a given time frame. So for this, coaching and building a team to achieve the vision. Any person, maybe he's a very great leader, he cannot achieve anything alone. A leader has to have a positive attitude, he has to have a team, and he has to motivate the team, he has to inspire the team so that the timeline already drawn to achieve the goal is achieved. So next we go. Priority is key to leadership. There are 3 R's: requirements, return, and reward. If the leader is able to explain to the team members that is what is the requirement, and if we fulfill the requirement, there will be return and the reward. The reward will not go to the leader only. The reward will be distributed among the team members. So for here, because they are all same as success, that brings strength, great pleasure, and that will be successful if acted in your own priorities. So now the next thing is the priority, because different problems. So this we will come again here. There is never enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important thing. I'm repeating this. This is a very important sentence. There is never enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important thing. The most people overestimate the importance of most things. Having too many priorities paralyzes people. That is, at a time, we have only 2 hands, and we have so many priorities we cannot handle. So finally, we find that there is a certain head block or road block, and we are not able to perform. When small demands are given too much attention, big problems arise. So this is also a very important point. So we start bothering about small things, and in this process we are not taking care of the big problems. Making everything a priority means nothing is a priority. Making everything is a priority means nothing is a priority. Sometimes it takes an emergency to force people to prioritize. You can't have it all. So a leader will not wait for the emergencies to arise so that he chooses his priority, and the team acts accordingly. So here the basic thing: work smarter, not harder. Either the leader organizes or he agonizes. He chooses or he loses. He evaluates or leads to stalemate. Priorities never stay put. Principles of priority. You cannot overestimate the unimportance of practically everything. The good is the enemy of the best. If you are satisfied with good, definitely you are not looking for the best. And when you are prioritizing, you cannot have all the priorities at one time in your 2 hands, and you cannot manage. Actually, when it is a teamwork, you have to explain the priorities to the people, because sometimes your priorities may not be comprehensive enough to the team members, and they may have doubts. So these priorities are to be explained to the team members, and time deadlines and emergencies focus us to priorities. So choose or lose. What is required of the team? What gives me the greatest return, and what is the most rewarding? So these things have to be done by the leader and explained to the team members, and team members are to be taken in confidence so that they all move together in one direction and help in achieving the goal set by the leader. Integrity, as Professor Wasim told in the very beginning, he used this word integrity. It is the most important aspect or most important ingredient or most important attribute of a leader. Integrity is one of the top attributes of a great leader. It's a concept of consistency of actions, values, methods, measures, principles, expectations, and outcomes. Integrity is a concept of consistency of actions, values, methods, measures, principles, expectations, and outcomes. So there are many things you can lack and still steer clear of danger. Integrity isn't one of them. If you do not have integrity, and if you have not and integrity, and as well I will use another term, mathematical term, integration. So you have to integrate with the team. You have to make the team members feel that they are one. So integrity is one of them. Establish a set of sound ethic policies, what I said in the first few lines. Integrate them into all business processes. Here, this integration it's actually a mathematical integration. It has to be a continuous function. Then only you can integrate. If the function is not continuous, then definitely integration cannot take place. So, and communication is a very important. Communicate them broadly to all employees and make clear that you will not tolerate any deviation from any of them. But this conveying that I will not tolerate any deviation from any of them has to be in such a manner that the team members do not feel that they are being dictated. So this is the art the leader has to develop, that what he is communicating to the team members feel that this is not something which is being thrust upon them. This is the requirement. So importance of integrity builds trust. Integrity has high influence value. Integrity facilitates high standards. Integrity facilitates high standards, and integrity results in a solid reputation, not image. Integrity means living it myself before leading others. Integrity means leaving it myself before leading others. I will give an example, and Professor Wasim will appreciate it. As Dean Faculty of Engineering, we start the class first day, first hour, we must start. I took a round and I found that 2 faculty members were not there. So I called them. They were very much scared that they don't know what the dean is going to talk. I offered them a cup of tea and I told them that, look here, young gentlemen, if I can come at 8 o'clock, I think you should also make it possible to come at 8 o'clock. And by 8 o'clock, I don't mean 8 o'clock, I mean 7:59. So I have to be there at 7:59 so that the others are there at 8 o'clock. So this is something which has to be followed by the leader. Leader has to first follow himself, then only he can tell the others to do. So here, this is a graphics, a very interesting graphics. The higher you go, it takes longer. But the higher the level of commitment of the team members, the easier it is to lead and the greater is the growth. So this is a very, very simple diagram, but it conveys a lot many things. So positive change, the ultimate test. So a positive attitude changes everything. A positive attitude changes everything. One has to have a positive attitude, and positive changes will lead only if you have the leader has a positive attitude and he's able to inculcate the positive thinking habits, or he's able to transfer positive energy to the team members. And in this process, continuous feedback is also necessary, and you need to be honest, constructive, and multi-source with an adequate number. And in this graphic, he's just asking one person, this is not the way, because the other team members will feel that my opinion is not being taken. So everybody has to be taken into confidence, and everybody has to be communicated in a very, very clear manner. This is the quality of a good leader. And all these things definitely help in initiating change. So why do people resist change? Look at this graphic, tells everything here. Here people are just peeping through in this graph. I think it is visible to you. Why they are saying, man, this new CEO is changing everything. So they are scared. So why a change is resisted? And Professor Wasim will appreciate if I say that in AMU, any change we want to bring in, it is resisted with all might. The change isn't self-initiated. Routine is disrupted. Change creates fear of unknown. Why it is resisted? Because they think that they will have to put in extra labor. The purpose of change is not explained to them properly. Change creates fear of failure. They think that they will have to learn the new things. That is, that, for example, we have started online classes. Many people are afraid of going for online classes, and until unless it is explained to them and the necessary facilities are provided to them, they will they will keep resisting. But anyway, nowadays they have to do it. The rewards of change don't match the effort change required, because they think that they will be putting so much of labor and the reward is not there. Change won't happen when people engage in negative thinking. So this is here again, the pressure comes on positive thinking and imparting positive energy to the team members. The followers lack respect for the leader. Why the followers lack respect for the leader if they find that their leader does not have integrity, which has already been explained by us. So the leaders must respect the followers must respect the leader. The leader is susceptible to feeling of personal criticism. Of course, some people will criticize. In any, let us say, group of 10 people, there will be 2 to 3 people who will always be criticizing. They will not be working. The leader doesn't have to bother. The leader has to bother for the 3-4 people who are there, and they are actually, in fact, working. And the rest of the people, they will jump to this side after they see that these changes are yielding positive results and there are rewards. Change may mean personal loss. They feel, here the people are. Change requires additional commitment. And nobody wants to commit any narrow-mindedness towards acceptance of new ideas. Tradition resists change. Traditions को तो मैं अगर कुछ बोलूंगा तो प्रोफेसर वसीम मुझसे नाराज हो जाएंगे, तो मैं नहीं बोलूंगा. और आप सब एलिगेरियन है वहां पर, you will also say कि हमारे traditions को ये challenge कर रहे हैं. I'm not challenging that, sir. I'm the last person to do it. Creating climate for change. The leader must develop a trust with the people. And here again, that integrity part comes. The leader must make personal changes before asking others to change. He has to change himself. As I said, that if I have to lead, if I have to see that everybody is there in the department by 8 o'clock, I have to be there before 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. And once this is communicated to all the members, they will definitely see to it that they are not put to a disadvantaged position. Good leaders understand the history of the organization. We know that. Place influencers in leadership positions. Because as I said, that I'm the leader and there are 3-4 people. So they become influencers and they will keep telling other people to go for the change. Good leaders solicit the support of influencers before the change is made. So this is a very, very important point. You have to take into confidence the 2-3 people there, and others should not feel that they are not with, and these 3-4 people will influence the others. Develop a meeting agenda that will assist change. You have to have a clear roadmap so that the change may be brought in. Give people the ownership of the change. So here again, that we go. It is not the or we did. It is not that I did or I take the credit. Encourage the influence to influence others informally. Show the people how the change will benefit them. This is a very important aspect of leadership. They should know that any positive change is definitely going to benefit the organization, and once the organization is benefited, they will also be benefited. Or for example, we encourage our faculty members to go for publications, and these publications definitely yield to their promotion. So these things they know, and we have to encourage people for writing projects. That is what we call. We should write projects and get money from funding agencies to the extent that what amount we get from UGC, it is more than that. Offer ownership of changes to others. So here, according to John Maxwell, this talk is based upon this book. Can you see this book? You can see this book. Yes. Problem solving is the fastest way to gain leadership. A leader has to be fast in solving the problem. And our attitude, in other words, attitude leads to commitment. Attitude towards problems demonstrates if we are a leader or not. So attitude is very important. People do not like problems, and the majority do everything they can to get rid of them. However, this creates an incredible opportunity for leaders to demonstrate their leadership capacity by finding sustainable solutions. So there are two crucial elements to problem solving, and they are having the right attitude and a good action plan. Right attitude and good action plan. Right attitude actually leads to commitment. So, and a good action plan. If I am able to explain my roadmap to my team members, and they are able to understand them, and then they will definitely come forward to do things. Here, एक slide miss कर गई. इसके बाद reasons for no. Just wait for a minute. What has happened? Okay, so now I go to this. What are the problems? We have all problems, and problems give meaning to life. If we do not have problem, then what is the meaning of life? Many outstanding people have overcome problems in their lives. My problem is not my problem. A problem is something I can do something about. So a test of a leader is the ability to recognize a problem before it becomes an emergency. You can judge leaders by size of the problems they tackle. Solve task problems quickly, people problems will take longer. For this, we need right attitude and the right action plan. Defining a problem, a leader is able to define the problem, ask the right questions, talk to the right people, get the hard facts, get involved in processes. Leader has to involve in the processes. And problem solving process, identify the problem, prioritize the problem, as we discussed earlier. Prioritization is a must. Defining the problem and explaining it to the team members. Select people to help you in the problem solving process. And the leader should be in a position to identify the person who can solve the problem in the best possible way. So solutions, correct problem solving solutions, prioritize and select the best solutions, implement the best solution, evaluate the solution. So all these things, once adopted by anybody, it will simply lead to his being a good leader. So attitude, as I told about attitude, the attitude is actually commitment. Attitude is most important asset. It is impossible that a person with a bad attitude can be successful. We are responsible for our attitudes. It is not what happens to me that matters, but what happens in me, it matters. The leader's attitude helps determine the attitude of the followers. Once the followers are convinced, they will. What's the time? 8:18. Oh, we started late. Anyway, I'm sorry. So the stage of attitude changes. Identify problems, feelings. Identify problem behavior. identify problem thinking, identify right thinking, make a public commitment to right thinking, develop a plan for right thinking. So vision. As I said, if you want to become leader, you have to have a vision, you have to have a roadmap and methods to achieve the different milestones set, and in that the expectations from the team members and how you explain. Individual rights are set aside because the whole is much more important than the part. Time flies, morals soars upward, heroic stories are told, and commitment is the watchword. As I told, that attitude leads to better attitude, leads to better commitment is the watchword. Principles about vision. Credibility is determined by the leader. Acceptance is determined by timing. Value is determined by energy and direction. Evaluation is determined by commitment. Success is determined by ownership. 4 vision levels of people. Some people never say it, wanderers. As I told, out of 10, the last 3 people. Some people see it but never pursue it on their own. 3, above 3, 4, 5, 6. Then some people see it and pursue it. This is 6, 7, 8, 9. Some people see it, pursue it, and help others see it. It is the leader. So, personal ownership of a vision. Look within you what you feel. Look behind you what you have learned. Look around you what is happening. Look ahead of you what is the big picture. Look above you what is expected of you. Look beside you what resources are available to you. So for framing the vision, these are the different parameters which has to be taken care by the leader. So I will give you a small example. All India Council of Technical Education went on opening more and more colleges, just saying that we are in competition. We are in competition with China. And what is happening to the engineering education, less said, better it is. So successful leaders' vision. There they lacked, in fact, vision. Perception, seeing what is now with the eyes of reality. Probability, seeing what will be what will be with the eyes of discernment. Possibility, what can be with the eyes of the vision. Successful vision casting, understanding what hinders a vision, setting the proper environment of opening your eyes to the possibilities. So self-discipline, as I told you, is the most important price the leader has to pay. If he wants his faculty members or if he wants his employees to be there on time, he has to be there on time, all the time. So the price tag of leadership, everything worthwhile is uphill all the way. So it has to be, the leader has to pay for it. That means that there is always a cost associated with leadership. He has to be there by 8 o'clock or whatever is the prescribed time, so that others are also there on time. The hard truth is that the cost is self-discipline. The leader has to have self-discipline, and he has to organize your life, set your priorities, place priorities in your calendar, allow a little time for the unexpected, because unexpected things may happen. Do projects one at a time. Do not take so many projects at a time. Work according to your temperament. Develop systems that work for you. Always have a plan for those minutes between meetings. Always have a plan for those minutes between meetings. Focus on results, not the activity. The results are more important, and activity will definitely take care of the result. Self-disciplined leaders welcome responsibility, accept accountability, pay now, play later, become character-driven instead of emotion-driven. The price of greatness is responsibility, said Winston Churchill. The price of greatness is responsibility. So welcome responsibility. Be responsible for who you are. Be responsible for what you do, and be responsible for what you have received. be responsible to those you lead. So as dean, for example, we have to realize that who I am and why I am here, and what I have received and how I am going to lead. Developing integrity. So how I develop integrity? I will live what I teach, what I preach or what I teach. I will live according to that. I will do what I say. I will be honest with others. I will put what is best for others ahead of what is best for me. Others become more important than the person. I will be transparent and vulnerable. If some people feel that if they are transparent, they will be vulnerable. Definitely they will be vulnerable. But if your transparency is at every level, then you are not vulnerable at all. So golden rule, never stop learning and keep moving. Never. So communication here. So become a better leader, develop your skills, become a great communicator. Communication skill has to be very good. Work on your leadership skills, develop expertise in your field, discover the heart of what leadership is about for you. Discipline yourself to understand what's happened around you by observing and listening. Become a better listener, someone who stays focused and turn into the nuances of a conversation. So become a great communicator, admit when you are wrong. A good leader will say that, yes, I'm wrong. And a manager never says. Manager, if at time anything happens, he puts the blame on different people. So a leader is a good communicator. He is a very good listener, and he has to be honest to the team members and honest to himself. And then only he will get respect from the people. So it's all about team spirit. Be part of the team. This graphic is showing, see the leader is uphill, but he has turned back to get to help the other team members to come up. There is an acronym that says team stands for together everyone. Team stands for together everyone. Great leadership comes from those who see themselves as part of a team, who are willing to roll up their sleeves and do what it takes to support, help, guide, and mentor. So they become a good leader, becomes one of the team members at a given time. Put people first. A good leader will put others first, put himself at the end. People are interested in growth and development. They want to know how they can do better and find their own path. So as a leader, your job is to mentor them, guide them, and support them. Invest in the people. Right investment is start at the heart of what matters in your organization. That is the people. So invest on them. And your investment may be in terms of influence, in terms of rewards, in terms of incentives, in terms of encouragement, and so many parameters are there. If you want to see them happy, engaged, loyal, and dedicated, make the time to invest in them, nurture them, and provide them with a clear vision of what is required. So lead with love. Lead with love. A manager does not do that because he has the authority to push people. The leaders who show compassion are the most admired. The leaders who show compassion are the most admired. Show compassion and care. Recognize the gifts of your people. Give credit to them, and give trust to earn trust. That is, here I will say, Professor Wasim, I have always been, and all the team members, if you are able to inculcate the feeling of owning the institution, owning the corporate, and the feeling of corporate owning you or the institution owning you. That is feeling that is given a feeling of owning, and the institution owns you and you own the institution. This is the best relation one can have. And similarly, a team member owns the leader and the leader owns the team members. So this is the best proposition a leader has to keep in mind. So with this, thanks to all of you. And if there are any questions, here the source are shown. This is based upon the book also I had shown. This book based upon Developing Leadership Within You by John C. Maxwell. This book is available anywhere. So with this, I again thank the organizers and the Old Boys Association of Alumni Association of Jazan University and the organizers, and at the end, my learned colleague, Professor Wasim Ahmed. Okay, thank you very much. If there are any questions, welcome. Huh? Do?
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Yes.
We are all inspired by your great words. Sir, thank you. It was really a very informative session. I hope everyone got benefited. Things we learn: if your action inspired others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Innovations distinguishes between a leader and a follower. These types of thoughts coming from your speeches, a leader to accomplish their goals. The growth and the development of people is the highest calling of leadership. So it was really a very informative session. I hope everyone got benefited. Now we will move to the question and answer session. My first question is from Mr. Syed Wajid Ali. Recently, UPSC result, university failed to achieve goals. Who is responsible and who is leader?
I could not get the question.
Recently, UPSC result, university failed to achieve goals. Who is responsible and who is leader?
For the failure of UPSC students.
Oh yes, actually what happens that we have got our this coaching and guidance institution. But if you want a very frank answer, and Professor Wasim will tolerate it, this was never in the hands of a competent person. I have a lot of pain and agony regarding this. Whereas Jamia Millia Islamia, their average in the last 3 years between 40 to 45. But whereas this AMU, some people will come in some judiciary service and there will be a lot of advertisement. So that it is not the failure of the faculty members, it's not the failure of the organization. To some extent, our students are also responsible for this. They do not take it seriously because once they have entered, because I have not studied in AMU. There's hardship I faced outside. People do not realize that. And Professor Wasim has toured so many places. This such an excellent facility which is existing in AMU does not exist anywhere. But it is not being fully utilized because you Dr. Faisal, please bear with me, because once you start taking things granted, the result will be like this. And if at all you feel that you are being threatened by the other environment, then definitely a strategy you will decide, and definitely you will put in more of labor so that you succeed. Okay, I think your question of Professor Syed Wajid Ali has been answered. Any other question?
Thank you, sir. So many questions are there, but the time.
Professor Wasim, please excuse me for speaking so loudly and so bluntly.
Thank you. We have so many questions, but time is because of Salah here time and the shortage of time.
Salah time is here also. So I will tell you one thing. I will request Dr. Syed Kashif to give my email ID to the people,
Yes, yes.
and they may post the question on my email.
Okay, okay, sure,
And
sir.
I
Sure.
definitely, I assure you that though I'm not very good on the keyboard, but I will try to answer as quickly as possible and as short as possible.
Okay, sure, sir. Inshallah.
Sir,
Sure,
only one
definitely, I
question
will
is
give.
from the Professor Abdurraj something. Leaders are born or made?
Leaders are not born. Leaders are not born. Leaders are not born. Leadership you acquire. As I told you that you have to, every one of you can become a leader. It is by training and by hard training. I come from a village. But what I did in this university, in one meeting, I told that what the university has paid as salary in my 42 and a half years of service in the university, I have brought in more of funds from the different funding agencies. The Vice Chancellor told me, how you talk like this? Because we adopted as a slogan, academic regeneration. And so much so that even the medical college faculty were directed to consult me for writing projects. You write more projects, bring in more funds. So I was never a leader. I come from a village, and Professor Wasim knows. As you have Ravish Kumar coming from Madhubani, I come from a very backward place, a very small village situated in Siwan. But when I went to wherever I was in St. West Ranchi, I was in BIT Sindri, I was in Indian Institute of Science, and then I tried to acquire what they have. And I tried to make maximum use of the facilities they had. And that is how I developed. And here in the university, you'll be surprised that is apart from my academic activities, I have headed 14 offices, which Dr. Kashi was telling, and Professor Wasim will be just laughing at me that how I was managing all these things. And the most difficult of these things were managing the house of residences and the computer center, right? So the leaders, whose question was, the leaders are not born. I am not a born leader. I acquired it by practicing it, right? And any other question? Yes, please.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
So the question has been answered or not?
Yes, yes,
If
answered.
not,
Answered, sir. Here is another question from Mr. Rahat Ali Khan, where what are the main methods used in leadership development?
That I've already talked. That I have already talked.
Yes.
That I have already talked. My friend is trying to help me.
Hello.
In 60 senior teachers like Professor Rais, Professional Gerard, and Professor Rafiq, first we are resulting this, but now we see another opposite side. Yeah, you see here in the university, yes, you will be surprised that I had only 2 years of experience in the university, and I was trusted with compiling the 12th 5-year plan. Right from the 6th 5-year plan, I have been compiling the 5-year plan of the university, but in this government, those 5-year plans have vanished. So that is how I developed myself and my seniors who were there. They in fact helped me in developing leadership within myself. Yes, any other question?
So not a question, but one statement is from Dr. Saman Khan. I strongly disagree. Leaders are made and not born. A leader can belong to any place.
Yes. As I said, the leaders are not born.
Yes. Leaders
are not born. You develop, you can become a leader. Dr. Kashif can become a leader. Dr. Sharad Chandra can become a leader. He has to develop.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you, sir. This is the end of the session of question answer. Now I would like to call upon our respected core committee member, Dr. Ahmed Khalid Khan Saab, to present the vote of thanks.
Am I audible? Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, audible, sir, audible.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And very good
Walaikum
evening,
assalam wa
everybody.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm honored and lucky to have opportunity to extend a vote of thanks on behalf of Aligarh Muslim University Alumni Association Jazan on this beautiful evening. I express my sincere thanks to our chief guest, Professor Wasim Ahmad, Dean Faculty of Life Science, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh, for sparing his incomparable time and sharing his experience, his word of motivation, guidance, and encouragement. I also render my heartfelt thanks to our guest speaker, Professor Ikram Hussain, ex-dean and principal of Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology. In his lecture on leadership development, he explained what a leadership is and how it is developed. He also explained the difference between leaders and managers. Like he explained that leaders is not selected. I mean, he influenced his team. He always mentions that we. He never he keeps everything very inclusive, and he always says that let's go. Whereas manager is always chosen. I mean, he is chosen by any authority, and he never his approach is never be inclusive, and he always say I, and he never say that let's go. Whereas he say go. So the way in which he explained this topic was extraordinary. I take this opportunity to manifest my warm regards and gratitude to the organizing secretary, Dr. Syed Kashif, member secretary, AMU AJ, for organizing the series of webinars. I'm grateful to the convener of today's webinar, Mr. Muhammad Faisal, for arranging the webinars so efficiently. Further, I appreciate the core committee member, Dr. Athar Khan, all the executives and members of AMU AJ for their continuous inspiration and support. Last but surely not the least, my deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants who chose to live with us, alive with us, and attended the webinar with great interest and made it a successful event. I would like to thank once again the whole team for making this event a huge success. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Now I would like to thank our speaker, Professor Ikram Hussain Saab, and our chief guest, Professor Wasim Ahmad Saab, for giving us their valuable time. I think now we move to the end of today's webinar. So thanks you, all of you once again. Shall we wind up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir, and Ikram, sir. Thank you for your time, and thanks all the core committee member, Dr. Ahmad Khalid, Muhammad Faisal. Thanks all the participants once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. See you.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.